Hi folks, well I have done rather a lot of watercolours lately, so you'll forgive me for carrying on with the oily ones. There's my oil from yesterday, my cap. The cap itself came off a tin of beer mix and they're very useful, but I think this one would be beyond cleaning out. But anyway, I've put a bit of fast drying oil in with the linseed to give it a bit of a chance to dry quicker than it would normally do. Colours, well, my basic oily palette is the sap green and the red ochre, plus Payne's grey, a lot of oil in that Payne's grey. Ultimately, a bit of cadmium red for shadows and clouds. Cadmium yellow pale and yellow ochre. That's it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colours, but I use more of the 4, the blue, the green, the grey and the red ochre, than the others. The ochre is mainly for the skies. The yellow mixes very well with the sap green to give some bright on the foliage. Now, I've never tried to do buildings with this technique. I don't think it would be suitable. You'd have to use finer brushes than this cheapo. This is one of 15 out of a pack for about £8.50. And I've trimmed the end because it was a little bit spiky. But as you can see, that's all it is. And I did the whole painting yesterday with this one. But I've got others in reserve. Look, there's another one. That's a 2-inch, that's a 1.5 inch. I've got a couple of the inch ones, and if I want to do some blending, I can use this one. But I did the blending with this. I kept it clean by pulling it through a piece of toweling. Now I've got loads of toweling. Right, okay, this one's going to have water in, of course. So a bit of oil. All right, I'll just. Excuse me a minute. Just want to change my station. Okay, I always listen to the radio when I'm working. So I'm listening to talk radio. Music I love, but not when I'm painting, because I start to conduct to the music. So it just keeps me company. Right, okay, so I'm going to put in a bit of background first, do this, change it around a bit. So we'll have a bit of blue, bit of green, bit of white. So I want a bluey background. So give it a bit of distance. I'm forever fascinated and inspired by our local river Wandle and the Wandle Valley, including Morden Hall Park, the wetlands, the boardwalk. Living in suburban London, shortage of landscapes, so I say, no shortage of everything else, but I make these up based on memory, based on having done so many of them in the past. I've probably made that a bit big, but we'll let that dry for a moment. I want to put in some water. I'll start back to front, so I'll just put a bit of blue reflection across there. And then we'll come into whatever I'm going to put in the sky, a bit of ochre. Go around the corner. Oh, I hear Michel Rue's died. Oh, sad. My son's a chef, and he's a pastry chef, and he works in many of the top London restaurants, the Ivy, Sheiky's. I don't know if he knew Michel Rowe. He knows Rick Stein and Jamie Oliver. Right, well that's the basics. That's basic. So let's put in some trees and stuff on the edge here. I've darkened the green with a bit of Payne's grey to darken it. I've done this sort of stuff many times before, but they all end up different. And plenty of shadow in the depth of this. Keep your centre of interest away from the centre of the picture. Right, okay, we'll put a bit of red and green up here. As you know, we do with my friends. We do a weekly bike ride along the Wandle. This technique does call for a lot of stipple, and there's plenty of light and dark and potential in that. And this is a piece of watercolour paper that I primed with some titanium white gesso and a bit of PVA glue, slightly diluted. PVA glue is it's acrylic and it dries very quickly, especially with a hairdryer. Now we can counterchange a lot of stuff over this. Right, let's get some on the other side now. Bit waggly. Don't mix your colours to oblivion. I was going to say extinction, but then I'm thinking of Extinction Rebellion. Bit wobbly. There are plenty of oil, a bit too much oil in there really. No problem, we can get a bit of tissue and just lift some off. We can go back, start again. We'll have the river coming down here. What I tend to do, without realising, is to make the back too wide, and I lose my perspective somewhat. not my aerial perspective, but my linear perspective. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so we've got something to work on there. The light is shining on the oil. Get some more dark in here. Add some darks in the banks. Okay, let's just start to lift out some trees here. So, you know, this is on the paper. The original demonstrations I was doing on MDF, but this works quite well. And the advantage of this over MDF is that it's already got a prime background, the white paper. I'm going to demonstrate this to a group in November. I've got a watercolour in our workshop planned for July. Locally. Just some back. I put some lighter clumps of foliage in front of these bits. Otherwise, you'll have nothing coming forward on the trees. Alright, well that'll do for a start. We'll put some in here. Some in the murk behind here. I first sort of came across Dennis Sheehan about 6 years ago showing this. Yeah, I only seen one that he did, but I was so enamoured, but I stopped after, well, it was 6 years ago. I stopped in favour of acrylic and watercolour because the solvents, the brush cleaners I was using, like paraffin or kerosene, were so toxic and it was really affecting me, so that's why I stopped. But now you can use dishwasher liquid to clean your oily brushes, leave them in soak. Right, I'll do a bit of that water before I start the sky. I've got a lot of work to do in here, a lot of stipple. So this will make this a bit of a stippling video. Okay, I'm going to try and do this in one brush, but let's get a bit of that reflection in there. And then that's a better shape. Right, we'll let that lay for a little bit. Let's do some sky. I think my next one, I've got another piece of paper prepared that I hopefully do this morning. I'll do a big sky, just a basic landscape. Right, let's have a bit of ochre, bit of red. Got a bit of distance in some of this here. Yeah, good. Well, I have a bit of a blue and red, cad red, bit of white, bit of the other red as well. Otherwise, it's just too mauve. We've got the old bit of blending done in this one here. Then we can put leaves back on the ends of those branches. So you just got a lovely, lovely softness. Okay, now let's go back and put some stuff. Right, let's get some greeny yellow. on here. There's some much lighter ones, just catching some light coming through. I'm not sure I like that shape, so we'll alter that. Bit of, not so much on here. This is more in shadow. The light, it comes from the left, and we see this sort of view on the way on our bike ride back. So if you add some blue into the green, I'm trying to create an impression rather than a likeness of anything. We're going to have a bit of light coming in here. Right, we can put some light sort of coming through. I hope you can see that. Because the light is shining from the overhead lights. It's quite a bright day today. I'll turn them off because I can see. I don't want to bring the board towards the vertical. If we've got enough light, should be alright. Yeah, that's a bit better. So we've got some light shining on down there, but the paper's a little bit buckled. Oh, you no need to paint every leaf. Just get a rough old brush and just I know that here there's a hill up to Poulter's Park. This is nothing like excuse me. This is nothing like the Wandle. It's just an impression of it, painting the illusion of detail. Oh dear. If that old cone of virus comes near my COPT, that's me done for. Oh, there. Right, okay. So that's in shadow. That side is in shadow. Oh dear. And this side catches quite a bit of light. Right, now we've got to texture all this now. Use these bristles just to... Alright, let's get some... I've got some darks in there as well. Not sure I like the white in there. Better to have a darker green, I think. Maybe we can put a bit of red in with it. And the red will bring the whole thing forward. So you can mix a bit of red with the ochre. Just mixing a bit of white with the cadmium yellow, pale. And we've got a bit of dark in here. Right, let's do something with that water. The sky's okay. There's not a lot of room for the sky, so that's a sort of just a fill in. Dark in there. heavy there. Right, this is a knife now. Just put a bit of well, let's just clean this off a bit. My white has almost gone, but it's got different colours around it and I don't want to sully those colours yet. Stand my hand up. I've got loads and loads and loads of toweling. Just wondering if I can use that knife to need plenty of paper. Paper's not that needs to be a bit darker there, but I'm not sure I can do that. Okay, well, I don't think there's much I can do with that. That's So okay, a brush, one brush and a knife. Just a little bit of light in here, bit of relieving the shadow. Right, I'll put that in a mount. I'll just throw that bit of cloth, get another bit, work my hands. I'm going to put the mount on that. I can still do a bit more white up there. Maybe a bit of darker Payne's grey and blue, bit of white. Right, okay, that'll do. Let's take the mounts off. I mean, put the mounts on. Right, okay. Oh, it's going to be very difficult to put that on, as usual. And that clip is absolutely useless. Oh. They're the better ones for the board. Here we are. Okay, well, it looks like there's a lot in that, but it is the illusion of a lot going on. But you can see whether I would advise you, if you've got some oils and some watercolour paper that's still clean on the back of it, give it a coat of PVA glue to seal it. Keep the oil on top. You don't want it soaking in. It wouldn't matter. And have a go. See what you come up with. This technique just cries out for stippling, as well as lifting out. But my surface underneath is not that smooth. But I think we've got a painting there, a bit straggly here. But I'm not going to use a rigger in that. I said I'd use one brush. Well, I've used one brush and a pilot knife and a couple of cotton buds. Right, I hope you like that, folks. I'll see you soon. Sorry about that bit there. It's because the paper is croggled. I can't help that. I'm going to have to take a photograph of that. But I'll get this uploaded sometime today, and with another one, I hope. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye.